Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the AMS Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Michael Soto, and this is discussing all things films, past, present, and future. This is episode number 4. Thank you all for listening to the previous 3 episodes. I greatly appreciate it. I'm just coming up with this thing on the fly as you proceed. Like I said, slowly progressing, creating it into something. Who knows what the future holds? Just got to take it one day at a time. Once again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, check out the other stuff I've put on the channel, and keep an eye out. There's something in the works where I'll be doing a behind the scenes on some of my previous actual short film projects, documentary projects, and kind of giving you a meaning of each of those. But let's get to this next episode here. This week, at the time of this episode's release, I'm gonna prepare to say this in the proper way. American football, pigskin, this weekend, the big game between two sports teams will be this weekend, and a good majority of Americans will be cheering for two of their teams, and some just experiencing the big game, enjoying just watching the game, the commercials, or even the halftime show. So, a lot of people will be busy this coming Sunday once the game is released. And overall, you could say, kind of going to the first episode, movies become relatable to us in a sense, and to some, you could see sports movies becoming relatable to us, because the reason why is maybe we played that sport, or we continue to play that sport. It becomes relatable for us that we've experienced those hardships, that success, those ups and downs, obstacles of trying to be the best at that sport. And or to the casual movie fan, sports movies are based on true stories. I'm gonna give you a reference on some sports movies, and there are going to be several ones that are actually based on true stories, and you just enjoy watching that as a casual movie fan. But going into the specifics, we tend to like the sports movies, and maybe this happens in other films as well, but the ultimate underdog. It'll either be an individual or a team, man or woman, or female team, team of any kind of sport, basketball, football, hockey, just almost anything. And like I said, you'll hear references to certain films that they don't belong in this sport. The team is not going to survive. They have no chance in winning the big game. And so, just we enjoy watching that underdog story. And going from the underdog story, you have the David and Goliath. And to some may not understand what that is, I've now that I don't, but basically it's going against the scrawny average Joe and the ginormous big athlete that's gonna knock down that person to size, and making sure that they're gonna get knocked down and they can't get up, as well as the storytelling of films of teams working together. That it's a friendship, a brotherhood, sisterhood. That at first it looks like they're not gonna become well-known teammates and things like that, and in the end, they work hard together and just make sure that strengthens them to succeed and end up winning in their sport, or becoming good friends and knowing that they were able to do something. And a lot of these sports movies also become inspirational to some of us, emotional, heartwarming, just down to earth, amazing overall, even the ones that are the true stories. because I've seen sports movies that are based on true stories, and they get you in the feels. They get you in that spot because it maybe helps to motivate you in a certain way, and you just know that it's going to get you to where you need to be in life. And obviously, again, it's storytelling of good and evil, the antagonist against the protagonist, vice versa, just trying to overcome those obstacles in every form or fashion. And I know some who are the occasional movie fans and still would probably enjoy those sports movies they're invested. And a lot of these sports stories are the success and failure of the championship, winning that championship, going all the way to the end, or to some going all the way and don't end up winning it. And that's sometimes a part of sports. And this weekend, there will be one football team that wins and one that doesn't. This is my first time saying this. I don't know if get copyright claims, so just say American football, the big game, and you either are rooting for or against either team to win, and best of luck to the best team. And going off of those references, and I may be going into detail of certain movies, I basically looked up a list of the greatest sports films of all time, and some of them that come to mind and are a boxing film like Raging Bull with Robert De Niro, The Sandlot, Caddyshack, Rudy, Remember the Titans, a hockey film based on a true story of the USA hockey team Miracle, A League of Their Own, on a women's baseball team, baseball team, I believe. That's a heartwarming comedy. I don't want to get this wrong, so as I am speaking to you, it is. Yes, it is a baseball team. Sorry. Yes, I was thinking softball. You have the actual film Friday Night Lights, which was also put into a TV series. Moneyball, Field of Dreams, The Fighter, Secretariat, Glory Road, 42, $1 Million Baby, Waterboy, Bull Durham, The Hurricane. I've probably have missed several movies off of that list, but those come to mind. And to those who have seen any of those movies I just referenced, those have a connection with you in some sort more way. They became inspirational for you in playing sports. Um, they're one of your favorite overall movies besides it being a sports film. Your favorite movies in your ranking of a list. They are relatable in some form or fashion. And yeah, no, there's just so many. Like I said in previous episodes, there is so many films. And in sports overall, the variety of sports has become a variety of sport movies. And out of one of them, referencing Waterboy with Adam Sandler, it's a comedy about football. Adam Sandler also did Happy Gilmore, a comedy about golf. And from what I've seen, Adam Sandler is he's had his hits and misses. I recently saw one of his films, Hustle, about basketball. He plays a basketball scout. Really good film. Highly recommend it. And it basically references a lot of the things of what sports mean to some of us. How there's a connection there. You do things for family, your friends, yourself. The critics saying you can't win, you can't succeed, and you just keep fighting and everything. And as I kind of narrowed down that list, I want to reference sports movies that are relatable to me. I played sports when I was younger. I did martial arts when I was younger. And I don't do any now. I just still exercise and stay fit in the best way I can. And the sports movies that are relatable to me are The Karate Kid, The Sandlot, Remember the Titans, Rocky, The Wrestler, and Eddie the Eagle. And a lot of them are completely different. I'm not going to go into detail of each of them, but for the most part, the way I started this episode is basically how they're relatable to me is I've been knocked down before, not physically but verbally. Getting a little personal here. I was picked on when I was younger, just for the way I looked. And yeah, it brought me down, but I didn't let it bother me. I picked myself up. I kept going. Not everybody's gonna like me. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna keep moving on with my life, and I'm gonna be the best person that I can be. And I'm not competing against anybody else. So that's what a lot of these sports movies have done, where they're saying you can't do it in life. You're not going to succeed. You should just stay the way things are, stay the course. But one thing I've always kind of stuck by is you yourself are your biggest critic, and you're gonna have your positive feedback and your negative feedback. Only you are gonna be the one to decide if you can move on or you can succeed. And for the most part, that's what a lot of these sports movies are. Like The Karate Kid, for example. A kid moving from a town and just trying to fit in, and he gets bullied by just guys that don't like him. And he decides to do something that, not to just defend, but also, yeah, to defend himself, but to pick himself back up and know that he's not afraid of anybody, especially the critics. And Rocky, the true underdog story, as I referenced at the beginning, is a guy from nowhere, and he trains and trains, and a David and Goliath story, he just picks himself all the way to the top and shows that anybody can do what it is that they want to do, they set their mind to. The Wrestler, for my wrestling fans, you probably have seen this film. Really good movie. I'd say an independent film per se, and it was probably nominated for awards, so it wasn't one of those blockbuster movies. But even though, to those that are the non-wrestling fans, it's something of a guy trying to give himself a second chance and just basically down on his luck and just trying to go the distance. And really, really emotional film, and it's one of those that just, you gotta keep fighting the good fight, don't ever give up, and just keep at it. Eddie the Eagle, I would say, is one of those heartwarming movies, as I referenced in the beginning, those ones that tug on the heartstrings, because it's also based on a true story. I don't remember the person's actual name, I'd have to look it up, but I know it's starring Hugh Jackman and Joel Edgerton, and basically it's based on a true story of a man who wanted to become a skier in the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and they doubted him. He was doubted by everybody just because of the way he looked. He trained and trained all the way, and no spoilers, I won't say, but he doubted, even his own father doubted him, but he had the support from his mother, and he proved everybody wrong. So really heartwarming movie, and just an awesome movie. I'd highly recommend watching if you haven't seen. The Sandlot is one of those that, it's a movie about friendship and the memories. I played baseball, like I said, or I played sports and playing baseball when I was at that age. And it's just the storytelling of growing up with friends, and one of the friends who was an outsider, and he wanted to gain the trust, and he slowly gains the trust of all these young kids, and just the adventures of really growing up, getting in trouble, falling in love with a beautiful girl by a lifeguard by the pool. Really heartwarming movie. And Remember the Titans. I would definitely say I'm not ranking any movies, but Remember the Titans would be up there. I'm not going to name any others, but Remember the Titans is up there. Starring Denzel Washington, also based on a true story of a coach going into a high school, and bringing in both African American and whites to play sports together, and then showing a community that just because they they're both playing on the exact same team doesn't mean that they can play a sport like football. It's a story about friendship, racial relations, just stuff showing that you need to be by somebody's side, and just you're always gonna have their back no matter what they look like. For me, like I said, I'm trying to be the best person I can be. I've lost, not lost. Let me rephrase that. I've gained friendships over the years, and they're of all races, ethnicities, genders, and I'm respectable to those who I meet, and to those that I don't see anymore. I'm still going to respect them, because you never want to wish harm. You never want to wish bad on anybody, because that doesn't get you anywhere. You just be you, and knowing that the people around you are the ones that you care about and they care about you. And overall, Remember the Titans is just really one of those good movies that is just is awesome. And like I said, going back to me, the reason that some of those stories, I've suffered defeats and throughout life. I've experienced success, and not literally, metaphorically, in different ways. And don't have to go like we all have. We've all had our trials and tribulations, our ups and downs, and we're gonna keep having them. But to some of these movies, they stick with us, like other movies of other genres stick with us in some form or fashion. So it's basically, that's why just a lot of us love just playing sports, being a part of it, watching it, cheering on our favorite team, our favorite athlete. And as kind of going into the movies I referenced, I've grown having friendships that have lasted a lifetime. I may not see friends in a long time from afar, but I know the bond is there, and we've treated each other as equals, and they become a second family to us, no matter how long it's been, just since day one. It's a family. And in these sports movies, and then just in life in general, sports athletes or teams get compared to a previous person or a previous athlete. In life, excuse me, in life, you don't. I'm trying to way to phrase this. You don't want to be the next so and so or the next team. You want to be the next you, because that's who somebody can not like. You can mirror that person, but you don't want to copy anybody. You want to be the next you, because you dealt with that success, that failure, and you never gave up. You got knocked down. You kept trying, and everything motivated you. And that's how it should be with sports for me. I think, and just everything in life. It's just one of those that it just keeps you going, and you just don't let anything stop you. And that should just this sounds like it's gonna be a motivational talk, which I'm okay with, but I kind of feel that sports movies are are something like that in a way, motivational, inspirational, and just all around entertaining to watch. And anybody that wants to join a sport, that are young, don't let anything stop you. Keep going. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have the critics. You're just gonna be. You're gonna get those second chances. It might not work the first time, and you're gonna be considered that underdog. But just keep going, and don't let anything control you in any way. And just making sure that it's gonna be what drives you to do your best. And that's kind of like how I see sports movies. But to go back off of a little bit of other films, like I will say where I live in El Paso, Texas, and Glory Road is also a historical film, which ends up being something where a coach brought together starting five African American players, which ended up becoming the only team to win a national college championship in Texas history. And as of this recording, I believe that still stands today. You're gonna have films like Moneyball starring Brad Pitt, and where a guy who once was a critically acclaimed baseball player ends up becoming a baseball owner and just trying to revive his team to become the best and changing methods and ways of studying the game. And man, all of these films have their certain story or way of saying things to the audience. And like I said, they stick with us. And they end up becoming our ultimate classic favorites. Like I said, The Sandlot is one of those that it was a childhood favorite, and we all grew up with a variety of different friends, and it's still to this day, and we're always gonna have those lasting memories. And like I said, for the casual fans that enjoy just films overall, by all means. And like I said, all these sports movies bring a variety of different just topics, and just understanding gender, male, female, and athletes, just showing you what they have to offer. And I would just say that sorry. Hopefully I'm not coming under the weather with anything, but that's what I feel about sports movies. And you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna give you, not in particular order, my top. Oh man, I'm gonna do a top five here right now, and I might be judged, but this is my list. You might have a different. I'm gonna give you, in no particular order, I'm gonna give you my top five sports movies. I would say Rocky, Remember the Titans, The Karate Kid, The Sandlot, and what else? What else? I'm going to say Eddie the Eagle. And overall, that's kind of like where each of those, as I referenced earlier, how they are relatable to me in some form or way. Like I said, I'm not doing any sports. I just exercise and stay fit occasionally the best way I can. But growing up and the outside and now living daily in the life of what motivates me and what keeps me going is just the way those stories were told, and I'm just going to be the best that I can be. I'm not going to let anybody bring me down. I'm going to get knocked down, but I am going to get back up. I think that's a song. Hey. But no, that's kind of like overall of what I see the way sports are. And that's actually how maybe these two American football teams are feeling this week as I release this episode. They, maybe these athletes related to watching any of these sports movies, and it drove them to be the best to where they are right now playing for the biggest game of their life. And unfortunately, there will be one winner and there will be the loser. But then that'll lead to having to make sure that they're going to get themselves back up and they're going to continue to keep playing the sport that they love. And they'll be back again around this same time next year, or other teams from the football league are going to also try and get their way to get back to the big championship game. So that's, I would say, I really didn't go into specifics of movies, but this one was more or less of kind of like the first episode of how we perceive, or how some of us perceive, sports movies. And I see kind of like going into future episodes of maybe specifics of different movies and how to rank them best to worst or acting wise. So don't worry, I'll go into specifics of certain movies on later dates and overall just deciding. But like I said, that was it for episode 4. I greatly appreciate you listening on the day of later on. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Share to anybody that's never might be interested in listening to something like this. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said in the beginning, I am working on a little mini project where you will see my face. You'll be seeing my face from the sound of this voice, and it'll be showing you more of a description of the behind the scenes of the projects I've created and just how I came up with the conception. As the weeks proceed, I will find the time to, don't worry, to some who may be asking or thinking about it, giving me the advice. I will also be converting this into a video format, and it may be discussing about movie news or a certain topic that recently came out, and you'll get my take. But for now, thank you once again for listening to episode 4. This is the AMS Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Michael Soto, discussing all things film, past, present, and future. That's it for now. That's all she wrote. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye for now.